Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome on the webinar about high velocity IT. My name is Piotr Zadrożny, and I see that we have some attendees already, but let's give some time to others to join. So we'll wait a few minutes and then we start soon. So this is quite late, but I hope some more attendees will join us soon. And I think we should start now. Why high velocity IT? Is it possible to be faster than before? Is it possible to increase this IT velocity to provide more quickly more things in shorter period of time? So what ITIL recommends, what ITIL proposes to do to increase the speed of value creation, of value delivery. So ITIL 4 emphasizes one important thing, that value is not provided without cooperation or collaboration between provider and consumer. These two parties actively collaborate, creating value, and both parties get this value. So we know what the value is. This is a benefit that appears on the consumer side. These are some outcomes. But of course, what service consumers nowadays evaluate the most. This is also the time to market and also such parameters like time to benefits or time to revenue. It's not only important to provide something valuable to the customer, but also important how quickly it is provided and how flexibly it is provided, how quickly we can react as providers to changing needs of the customers or consumers, how flexible we are reacting to changes in environment, on the market, in technology, to be able to continuously provide value. So when we provide value to clients on the beginning of cooperation, that service we provide or services we provide are probably services of the highest value for our customers. And on the beginning of cooperation, this is the high chance that our clients are satisfied with provided services. But the question is, if that service we provide will continue providing value in future. And this is important. This is important to be able to increase the speed of value delivery and to increase the flexibility. So what ITIL recommends to do this? What is important on the service provider side? This is defined in service relationship as service provision. Everything what provider does to provide services, all activities that provider performs. And of course, these are such activities like managing resources to deliver services, managing access to resources, fulfillment service actions. But very important thing is service level management and continual improvement. This is something what we already discussed, that we need to continue providing value. And this is important in the context of continual improvement, that we continually improve services, we improve services, we align and realign them to changing customers' needs. And this requires to be of appropriate speed. When we don't react quickly enough, when we don't react quickly enough to changing customers' needs, so then some other providers may offer value to our customers and may offer higher value and may offer it more quickly, and someone else might appear on the market who will offer services that are of higher value than we offer and will completely redefine the market where we provide our services. So this is important to focus on this continual improvement, not only in context of high velocity, but also in context of methods, how we provide value. So the question is, what about traditional IT? Is it possible for traditional IT and service management methods to provide services with the high velocity, with high agility to clients? Is it possible to quickly react to changes on the market, environment, changes in technologies, etc.? It's probably hard to obtain for IT that uses traditional management methods, because traditional IT often uses on-premise infrastructure, which is complex in management and requires a lot of manual tasks that are not easy to be automated. Traditional IT often uses some systems that are maybe not so modern, and architecture of some applications often have been defined many years ago. Traditional IT often utilizes monolithic applications, legacy systems, and is diluted with manual work. Project management is not oriented to accept changes during process execution, because this is often a waterfall approach. Service management uses strict processes and often is organized in silos, which limits cooperation between different departments that often act as separate kingdoms with own management, budget, goals, priorities, and so on. So it's not easy for traditional IT to obtain high velocity. What about traditional business? As traditional business also exists in particular market and not only requires support from IT, but also requires to be flexible and agile. So what about traditional business management methods? Traditional business models, like traditional organization with strong hierarchy, with command and control management model, that also uses waterfall project management practices, is quite bureaucratic, uses a lot of manual processes and manual tasks, and is not easy to adapt quickly to changes on the market. Even other organizations on the market are changing quickly, but traditional business organization is often limited and has very high inertia. So what is important nowadays to survive on the market, where we have a lot of unpredictable situations? I've seen such picture recently. What triggered digital transformation in your organization? And most people answer to that question: COVID. So yes, the situation we have nowadays strongly impacted the market and enforced digital transformation for many organizations. So the question is, what skills, what abilities or capabilities are the most important nowadays on the market? And that's why I placed this picture here in the presentation. This is an opinion of Charles Darwin, who said that it is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is most adaptable to change. And this is, I think, the most important thing nowadays, to be able to adapt to change quickly. Adapting to change is a challenge for many organizations, but also this is opportunity. Why? Because environment is changing often, and we operate in constantly changing environment. So then we should be able to adapt to these changes. The law changes, the situations on the market changes, and it can be surprising and unpredictable. So the one who adapts faster wins. So this is, I think, quite obvious. So continuous adaptation is, as I said, both challenge and opportunity. So that companies that could not adapt, they may lose their dominant position on the market and finally may disappear completely from the market. Companies that could not understand the direction in which they develop, this company that cannot understand how to develop, again, may lose their position or someday will completely disappear from the market. Companies that don't know how to take up the challenge. This is also important. How to take up the challenge, how to deal with a change that is needed to adapt. So, high velocity IT can be an answer. Another thing. What customers want, what clients want on the market. Something what is innovation today, after some time will be something what is a standard. Let's analyze what services were offered 10 years ago, for example, or 15 years ago in banking systems. This time, many features offered were innovations, and many people were delighted with these adds-on, these extras, etc. Now, in most situations, these features that were innovations 10 years ago, 15 years ago, are elements of standard service that many banks offer to their customers. So this is often documented as a Kano model that defines some system characteristic features, elements that are of basic expectation that must be provided. When it's provided, it doesn't increase customer satisfaction, but when it's not provided, it leads to strong dissatisfaction. These are some elements that are neutral, so are expected, but they don't have impact on customer satisfaction. And some elements that more provided, then it has higher impact on satisfaction. And of course, some extra elements that causes that system service is unique and of higher value. Some additional elements that differentiate offered solution from other similar solutions. Many companies on the market can offer solutions or services of similar value, similar quality, but how to differentiate from a group of other providers, how to offer something which is unique, and it's not only about providing customer satisfaction, but it's about customer obsession, customer delight. So, the challenge of the modern market is known as disruptive competitor. Who is a disruptive competitor? Companies existing on the market often compete and try to find new methods how to lead their business, how to run their business. Someday, completely new organization, completely new company enters on the market and completely redefines rules of competition in that market. Such company is often known as disruptive competitor. This is not just about technological changes, because often the technological changes are a significant element of or significant contributor to disruptive competitor success. But it is also about business operating model that is different than before and provides exceptional value for customers. If you imagine some companies, if you can imagine what companies entered on the market, maybe you know, or you can guess what companies entered to the market and completely redefined rules on that market. Maybe you remember such companies like, for example, Netflix or Spotify or Uber, and these companies often base their services on disruptive technology. Disruptive technology means innovation, means something completely new that allows to provide business in completely different way. So they implemented disruptive innovation. So disruptive technology is the technology that affects the normal operation of the market and industry and displaces well-established products and technologies. For example, traditional IT uses on-premise infrastructure. Technology that disrupts and completely redefines this market is cloud. To start providing IT services, for example, using on-premise infrastructure, you have to spend a lot of money up front to run the business. But having cloud, it's not important. It's not necessary to have a great investment in the beginning. When your business is growing, then utilization of resources is growing, and you then have equal money to spend for equal level of utilization. Disruptive innovation creates a new market and value network and finally disrupts an existing market. So it is typical for digital transformation that we completely change methods to run business. So implementing disruptive technology allows to run business in completely different way than before, or allows to run completely different business. So what other players on the market should do when the market that had been stable but now is disrupted by a new player, how these existing players, how they should compete with this new player. This is a challenge. So the challenge is to implement disruptive change. So disruptive change is hard to implement because it initiates a new business, but it may also destroy an existing one. So typical situation, this is a revolutionary change or strategical change that opens organization to completely new business, but impacts negatively, often negatively impacts existing business. And this decision to implement such change is often very difficult for decision makers, for business management board, and so on. Some companies that had to take such decisions some time ago had some doubts to enter into a new market, to run new business, to destroy existing business or not. And often such decision they took too late and they often lost some part of market, or some companies that they didn't implement disruptive change quickly enough, they lost their position or finally disappeared from the market. I think that there are many examples of such companies that didn't decide early enough to implement disruptive change. For example, such company like Kodak that decided to stay with analog technology in cameras, in making movies, etc., because they had a lot of solutions and they were owners of some technologies for analog photography, analog movie making, while other companies, while their competitors decided to enter into digital technology. Of course, they had a really well running analog business, and entering to digital business, it's something completely new for them. So decision to switch was really hard for them. Okay, so let's move on. So, due to Modern technologies, changes to the market. Some businesses already disappeared from the market. For example, we don't have now video rentals because we have Netflix. So no one buys media with music or with films to just listen one song or to just watch the film. You can buy service on the internet. You can use appropriate application to watch what you want or listen what you want. So we also don't have such profession nowadays like music sellers, for example. Of course, we used to buy music and we used to ask some people for advice what kind of music to buy, and if you said to that person what music you like, such music seller could recommend something that fits to your preferences. But this algorithm now is implemented in some digitalized solutions, like for example, technology may recommend your music that you like. For example, such algorithm is implemented in Spotify solution. We don't have information officers because everything what you need to know about place of your destination when you travel, you can find on the internet. We don't have parking attendants because for now we have IoT solutions and many other automation that allows us to leave car on parking lot, for example, without any assistance from people, because everything is automated. So it means that rules on market are changing and technology is something what helps to implement, to support this change. So we need to be a digital organization to speed up service delivery and to speed up our agility, to be able not only quickly provide valuable services, but also be able to quickly react to changes on the market and quickly react to changes in technology, environment, etc. So digital organization is an organization that not only changed IT, but also changed whole business. This is organization that not only implemented modern technology, but also completely changes the ways of business practices. So thanks of digital technology, we can eliminate a lot of manual tasks. We can eliminate documents. We can reduce some boring activities and eliminate some activities that are really prone to errors. We can speed up these activities because they are automated. So thanks of this, these activities are repeatable. And this is also important. ITIL4 extended the meaning of service from IT service to services that are supported by IT or provided thanks of IT. Nowadays, we often use applications, or often we say we do something using internet to order something. We order something that is non-IT service, but we use an IT service to order it, like we do internet shopping. We buy a lot of goods on internet. We can find a free place and parking space in the city using application. We can buy tickets. We can order food, and we can plan vacations, buy insurance, take loan, and do many other things that are not IT services, but we use IT service to order it and to use it. So this is thanks of digital organization. This is thanks of digital technology. So we do our business in completely different way than before. And this business is often available without permanent or direct interaction between people, between providers and clients. So what are new professions on the market that came together with new technologies. 10 years ago, we didn't have big data analysts, social media specialists, or mobile application developers, and definitely we didn't have such professions or such activities like bloggers, or YouTubers, and many other that stream something on internet or report something on the internet using modern technologies. So thanks of this transformation, some professions already disappeared from the market. Some professions will disappear soon from the market, like for example cashiers or drivers, because technology of autonomous cars is under quick development, and maybe within 5 years we will have more autonomous cars than now, where this is still an area of experiments, and some new professions will appear. So how to be able to transform traditional IT and traditional business into one integrated digital organization? We need digital transformation. So this transformation that ITIL defines is known as the use of digital technology to enable a significant improvement in the realization of an organization's objectives that could not feasibly have been achieved by non-digital means. So then we can get the same results, or often much better results than before using digital technology, or we can open for new opportunities and for new kind of business thanks of digital technology. Some services were not possible some time ago because we didn't have technology, but now technology allows for completely new products and services, often known as the digital products, that we didn't provide some years ago, but now it is possible. So it creates completely new businesses, and you can say that we can say that 10 years ago, maybe we didn't realize that such kind of business is possible, but now we know that it is. So what are enablers of digital transformation? What technology or solutions we can use to be more quick, to better respond or more quickly respond to changing business needs, to changes in the market, to be more agile, to be more quick, to increase velocity? This is, first of all, I think this is cloud. And nowadays, even IT specialists are different. For me, a server is something what is a device that usually is mounted in a rack, connected to electricity, network, big, expensive physical device that requires cooling, ventilation, and that is something what is of high weight, etc. So physical server, something big. For people that now are entering on the market, are entering on the IT industry as new employees, for them, server is not a physical device, not a big device mounted in a rack case. For them, server is an instance of cloud that is, for example, a shortcut on the desktop. And I think that such people are now on the market that don't think about servers as something physical, because most servers that they ever dealt with are servers in cloud. The second area are solutions like Internet of Things together with artificial intelligence and machine learning. The network that allows for high throughput is quickly developing. So then we will be able to connect more and more devices to internet. And these devices may help us to manage with traffic, will help us to manage with monitoring of, for example, air pollution, to find a place in the city when you want to leave your car in the parking lot, and many, many other things. Thanks of artificial intelligence, we can also predict some situations, predict sales, for example, predict needs for resources, and many other things. And finally, we can automate processes in business, that everything what required some manual tasks and interactions between people now can be provided automatically using some applications. For example, bank services now offers opportunities for some investments. You can buy shares, you can take a loan, or you can lock some money on your account, and everything is automated. We don't need to go to the bank branch office to do this. Everything what you need, you can do using bank application, you can do on internet. So it helps us to save a lot of time. This is a great value for people that use these applications, these services, to save a lot of time, to have access to larger variety of services, and to have access to larger variety of goods on the market. So then the selection is huge, and of course competition is also very, very high. But the offer we have now is much bigger than before. So you can see that thanks to technology, new modern businesses appeared during last few years on the market. I mentioned such companies like Uber, Netflix, Spotify, but we have also such companies like, for example, Airbnb, that offers accommodation. But this company doesn't have any hotel rooms. This company doesn't have any infrastructure like buildings, for example. This is interesting, completely new model of business. Some time ago, when someone wanted to offer accommodation, needed infrastructure to do this. Nowadays, you just link client with provider, and that's all. You don't need any infrastructure. So the same with, for example, Uber or other organizations. Completely new services like financial services on internet, fintech companies that offer modern financial services that are developed thanks to new technology, like Revolut or PayPal, that you can use to pay on internet or do some other operations that are completely new, modern, and simplifies this operation. This solution simplifies some operations on the market when you deal with number of currencies, when you deal with different credit cards or debit cards, etc. Everything is simplified and easy. So how to speed up, how to be organization that offers high velocity. So these are some recommendations, like valuable investments. So some time ago, companies spent about 80% of their budget on operational activities, on system maintenance. And the maintenance of traditional IT and maintenance of traditional business was high, and operational costs were really high. So it means that they spent about 20% of their budgets on innovations, on development. Valuable investments means that we strategically innovate and we invest more in innovations, in development, less in operations. Thanks to automation, we have some additional resources, we have some additional time, because a lot of manual work now is automated. How to use this time? We can use this time to work on innovations. Fast development. Something what is important for the business is how quickly new features, new functionalities, new solutions appear on the market. If someone else enters in the market with similar solution, then this organization leaves us behind. So then, fast development is important. Resilient operations, it also impacts service value, so this represents service warranty. Highly resilient IT services and IT-related products of high availability with low level of errors, without latency and other user impacting quality parameters. Co-created value. So this is something what I mentioned on the beginning, that providers and consumers co-create value. So it's like providing our consumers with tools. There is high promotion or a huge offer or self-help or self-services where consumers can do a lot having this kind of tools. So if you want to order something, for example, you want to order a meal, you have opportunity to select what exactly you want. If you want to buy something, like you want to do a shopping on internet, again, you are provided with tools that allows you to select what you want. And of course, this is very flexible and reliable. Of course, the most important thing is knowledge, how to use these services. So this is what is expected from the consumer side, the knowledge. And assured conformance. As now, IT departments collect a lot of data. We have such regulations like, for example, GDPR. Financial companies are often highly regulated, or financial market is often highly regulated. They have a lot of other regulations. So everything should be in line with these regulations, adhere to governance, risk, and compliance. So how to speed up? What is important in modern high-velocity IT? These are 4 elements: lean, agile, resiliency, and continuous, being continuous. What does it mean? So lean focuses on value stream, on short lead times, or on pace, on providing value in smaller batches, and eliminating wastes, and also eliminating overburden, low flexibility, or unevenness. So the service is reliable, the service is predictable, the service is flexible, in spite of level of utilization, in spite of number of connections, the system scales appropriately to changing user needs. So then it's never overloaded because the number of resources is exactly the same like number of users, or this is appropriate number of resources. So then wastes are eliminated. This is flexible enough and predictable, repeatable. Agile. So the most important thing, we provide solutions in small iterations, and we are also open for changes. We are able to implement changes that appear due to changes to everything around us. And we also collect feedback and use this feedback to improve our services, to plan for next iterations. Resiliency means that we are able to provide services with appropriate availability, appropriate performance, a level of reduced level of errors, and minimum of incidents. This can be obtained thanks to two technologies or two mechanisms or frameworks. One is known as Devops, the second, site reliability engineering. So, how does it look with DevOps? As you can see, you can significantly increase the number of changes implemented, the speed of change implementation, the lead time is much shorter, and also we reduce the change failure rate. How this is possible? So this is about automation of many tasks in IT. This is also about modern architecture of applications that are not monolithic but based on microservices, where change is much smaller than in traditional IT. So then we can implement many small changes. We can do it often. Every time when we implement small change, the risk is reduced, and then this is possible to do more changes and more quickly react to business needs, implementing quickly new code, new features, new applications, or some upgrades to it, etc. So let's summarize this part of this material. So the world, environment, and markets are constantly changing. So to be able to provide services that are valuable for clients, we must be able to quickly adjust or adapt to this changing reality. So adaptability, this is crucial capability. Digital transformation, this is what is necessary nowadays to be able to compete with other companies. So we then should follow the same rules like disruptive competitors. There's no choice. Knowledge of digital technologies and solutions is a key capability. Integration of business and IT is so strong that it's not possible sometimes to say this is the end of IT and beginning of business, because every business finally becomes a tech business. High Velocity provides solutions and techniques necessary for understanding digital transformation. So everything with details you can find on this training. ITIL for High Velocity IT. How ITIL as a library of best practices recommends to go through digital transformation and how to do it in line with best practices. So if you think about continuing training and develop your knowledge in ITIL framework, when you complete the foundation, let's think about ITIL managing professional path and about High Velocity IT course, which will provide you with knowledge about how to speed up your IT, how to transform your organization from traditional to digital, and how to be able to build organization and appropriate model for business that is more efficient and more flexible than traditional one. Of course, the second group of trainings that is recommended are trainings for DevOps. So thank you very much. This webinar was planned for 45 minutes. So if you now have some questions, I'm ready to answer. You can ask, for example, using chat. Okay, so I can see any questions on the chat. So thank you very much for your time, and I'd like to invite you to other webinars and trainings offered by ASECO Academy. Thank you very much, and a good evening, and have a good evening.